How much you
You tell them that. My dad and I called him.
Okay, did you let them know to come maybe a little early? Okay, I'm just checking, so we want to make sure that.
Yeah.
Right. We'll make sure that we don't stop.
Sorry.
Take much. And Mark, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not loud is what I heard.
We're up and running?
Yeah. I think I have some.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start on the home stretch here, and we'll have Lauren Taylor.
I'm Lauren Taylor, and my project is improving education in the United States. I started thinking about my project over the summer, and I knew I wanted to do something in the field of education because it's something I'm interested in going and studying in college. So as I was talking to my friends and family and doing my own research online, I found a couple articles that compared the education systems throughout the world, and I was really surprised to find that the education in the United States was ranked as 17th best. And according to the Huffington Post, that they interviewed the people in the United States, and they were also really surprised to find that they were so low. And they said this is due to low graduation rates and poor childhood education. So through this, I came up with my question of how can we improve education in the United States by using methods from foreign education systems. Originally, I had contacted a professor at UVA who worked in global development, and I also contacted a few other teachers throughout the community. But none of them worked out, so I went on to my next option. Through Mr. Caraway, I came into contact with Ms. Mariana Sidman-Laka, who is she's a guidance counselor in Finland. And when I told her about my project, she was very excited to help me. So I was very lucky to meet up with her. And because she lives and works in Finland, we were only able to contact each other through email. And I think that was something that scared me most about my project because we wouldn't be able to actually meet up. It might prove difficult. However, she was really helpful and just reassuring that everything would work out. And because of the nature of my project, most of my internship proved to be interviewing teachers and students from education systems. And with the guidance of Ms. Sidman-Laka, I chose my countries to study to be Finland and the United Kingdom. Originally, I was a little overeager in the countries I was going to study, and I had about 6. But as I got into my project some more, 6 countries proved to be a lot to be researching, and that took on too much that I could handle. And so I chose Finland because it was ranked as the #1 education system throughout the world. And I chose the United Kingdom because I was looking at studies from PISA, which is the Program for International Student Assessment, and the OSCE, which ranks education systems throughout the world. And the United Kingdom was shown to be one of the best education systems in all of Europe. So in my internship, I created a student interview and a professional interview Google form, which I sent out to educators throughout the 2 different countries. And my questions ranged from what are the standards that you set in your classroom and what are the standards that the national government sets for you? And I asked them about how they format their tests and their quizzes and how everything's graded. And throughout this, I was really surprised to find that a lot of the ideas that I had about education here were also shared by the educators in Finland and the United Kingdom. For example, personally, I think that we needed a reform on the standardized tests. And when I was talking with Miss Allison Arden, who runs her own kindergarten in England, she said that she agrees and that she thinks that one of the main problems is that students are just being asked to memorize and then regurgitate this information on tests and they just forget it. And that went along with a lot more of the research that I did, that when I was looking into businesses to see if they wanted from the students that they were hiring, they said that one of the biggest problems was the students didn't know how to communicate and they weren't professional enough because the skills that they were learning in schools did not really apply to their jobs. So this was one of the problems that I wanted to help fix in searching for an answer in how to improve education in America. For my community service, I am currently working with Allison Arden on raising money for her school because in England they are at a WAC and she's losing about $20 per student each day, and which means that her school, which she runs on the foundation of learning through play, where her students are getting hands-on experience and they're doing activities such as like going outside and learning in an open environment and experiencing like interactions with each other. They're going to lose the opportunity if they can't get the funds to keep their school open. And she watches about, she's got about 25 students each week, and she runs this school with herself and just 3 other employees. And they're all highly qualified to have these jobs. She has her master's with honors in early childhood education. So it's a school that's really providing a lot of help to these students and to families who can't afford to put them in like a private school. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're working on a fundraiser for that school. The framework that I think is best to improve education is the CREATE system, and this is used in schools that are not paid for by the government. And what it stands for is communication, relating to others, enterprise, applied thinking, and emotional intelligence. Personally, I find that emotional intelligence, communication, and thinking are the skills that the skills that businesses want from their children, the students coming in. Communication, the students need to learn how to interact with themselves and the teachers. They need to develop like public speaking skills. Still probably one of my personal biggest fears is public speaking, but it has proven to be very beneficial. Thinking, the students need to learn how to like form their own ideas and implement them, and when their ideas don't work, they need to be able to go back and see what they did wrong and see what can be improved. In the thinking category, I had the opportunity to talk with the creator of the PBL, project-based learning, which is what we're using here today. And he was talking to me about how he wanted this hands-on education for all the students. And so I know in Madison that all the teachers are required to do one PBL project, and then he came in and assessed them and told them like how they can like tweak it and make it work better for their personal classroom use. And that's where the thinking comes in. The students are learning to like use the tools that they have available and using their own ideas. And they're also getting available resources to research and work with others and work with the community. So it's not just you're in a school and like your social life, you're at a disconnect. So when you go into that job, you're going to be taking the skills that you're actually learning here and taking them with you into your future. For ensuring success, I said that we need to be hiring more qualified teachers. And because one of the drawbacks that I was receiving from the teachers in Finland and England, they were saying that over there, you can get your degree in education, and that's who they try to hire. But then when they start losing employees due to any normal circumstance that an employee would be, they can hire somebody to fill a place who only has 1 year of training in any sort of field. The example that I was given is a school was looking for a primary school teacher, and then a teacher or a woman who had her degree in art history came in and she started teaching a science class, which doesn't help the students. And when a teacher has a poor attitude toward their subject or towards like teaching in general, then that affects the student greatly, because then the student is interested in learning. So we need teachers who are actually interested in advancing the studies of the students and are engaged and are taking interest in the needs of the students. I also contend that we need to change from rote memorization to skill learning. And that means that we would take out standardized tests so that the students can focus on like, learning the skill and adapting to it and applying it towards their like, working outside of school. If I could do anything differently, I would like to include another country outside of Europe, because, like, for example, China does rank high on clinical levels, and it would be interesting to get their perspective too, along with the American and the European models. And my advice for any upcoming seniors would be to plan ahead. Senior year gets really busy really quickly, and we're all told that, but it doesn't really hit you until you're in the middle of this project and your other classes, a job, college applications, and scholarships, and then you're stressing out for time. So just plan for that and don't procrastinate.
The 2 countries that you studied, I don't know anything about one of them. I know in some European countries that students reach a point where they take one track or another.
Yes, sir.
Did you discover that here?
I did. In England, they do that. They go through their high school, which goes up until our junior year. Then they go to college, and at college they take on GCSEs, and they are classes that the student wants to take. So, for example, they can go into a electrical field or computer science or math, and there's also sports and business tracks. And so for 2 years, they're like intensely studying these classes, and they're going and they're working with an intern, and it just helps them get ready for the real world more than just taking like general subject classes that we did.
And I missed the CREATE system. Is that something from Finland?
That is from a studio school in England. and
Okay.
It's a free school.
England. Did you read any studies about the main causes of problems of American education system?
It was teachers that aren't qualified for their jobs and that aren't like giving students individualized approaches like the other countries do. Like the teachers won't stay after and they won't take breaks during the day to make sure a student really explains something, and it's standardized tests. Like the students will work and they'll memorize facts, and then right after the test they'll forget it because it's not pertinent anymore.
I have a question. So in the United States, a lot of schools are mandated on the same essentials, essentially, like they have to go through certain procedures and processes. So you talked about one of the schools where the instructor wanted to give a more hands-on play approach. So do they not have the same standard laws of education?
They do, but in those countries the teachers can actually go to training seminars and they can choose like from a variety of topics that they want to teach and that they think will help the students later when they get into like higher levels of education.
One question, did either country, or if you studied them, did you come across any issues over performance differences among students according to socioeconomic?
The only thing I found was that in Finland, some of their students, if they fall behind, because the teachers, like, they take breaks during the day, like their classes are a lot shorter than ours, the teachers will pull the students into the class and they'll help them and make sure they're up to the same level.
And what was your plan for helping with funds with the school in Europe?
Oh,
I missed that.
We're setting up a fundraiser.
Oh, okay. You haven't done it.
See it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We'd rather have you go to the bathroom than stand up.
How low you do it? Be like, well.